What's up, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. Today we're going to be doing a brief overview of Weirdworld Warriors of the Shadow Realm. This is the front cover. This would be the back cover. The main reason I picked this up was for Big John's art. He does a lot of the Marvel Conan from the 70s, 80s, and 90s. Love his art. He's primarily, when I think Conan in comics, it's his art is the Conan I picture in my head. And outside of that, we all think Arnold, right? Like he looks like you picture the character. So that was a big reason why I picked this book up. Also because it said if you like stuff like Lord of the Rings, that you would probably enjoy this. So you got this big these are called swamp creatures or swamp snakes, I think. And then you got these two elves, right? So yeah, that's an awesome cover. It said it's something like Lord of the Rings, so I was like, hell yeah! Plus Buscema art, let's pick it up. And this is my first real introduction to Mike Plug's art, which I actually really enjoyed a lot as well. So let's check through the pages, table of contents, and all that. Then, if you want to get just to me switching through the interiors and talking about my opinion about the stories and so forth, then skip to like the 4-minute mark. Alright, right away in the first page, you get here a cover of Skull the Slayer. This is Skull. He's kind of like a Conan type character, but here he clearly has almost like he went to the city, right? So this is a graphic novel, so meaning it's like about 100 pages or so instead of your regular 25-page comic book. And these Weirdworld stories, some of them are made also in graphic novel form. So here's a cover to one of the magazines, I believe. It says here, Warriors Shadows of the Realm. These are two main characters, and then one of the villains. I really like this cover right here. It looks pretty cool. I'm not seeing who the artist is right there, but yeah, that looks cool. Then here you get other stories. You get Marvel Super Actions issue 1. So that's really gonna be Marvel Super Actions was like a magazine. They had it's like maybe 100 pages, and it has like 4 stories, right? And each story is like 10 pages, 10, 15 pages or whatever. So yeah, he was on Marvel Super Action. That's the first storyline. Second storyline is called The Lord of the Tindling Quest, Marvel Premiere issue 38. Again, same similar type of thing. It's like one magazine type book, and it has a few stories in it, right? So it's the artist by Mike Plug, and on the first story is also Mike Plug. Now, the next story is Marvel Fanfare. Now, this is a 3-issue story, issue 24, 25, and 26. So it's a little mini series. Then the next one is on Marvel Super Special. Again, another 3-issue, issue 11, 12, and 13. And then the last one would be over here, the Epic Illustrations. It says issues 9, issues 11, 12, and 13. So it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 little mini series. What's interesting here is one was written like in 1972, one like in 1978, one in 85. So in between stories, it takes about 5 or 6 years before they write another 2 issues. And you could kind of tell when you're reading this, it's not all written month to month where they get a smooth flow. You kind of see them kind of like restarting and restarting each time, right? Because of the long gaps in between. Okay, so this is the table of contents. This is some of the cover art. Here it's been remastered and recolored. We'll get to some of the extras right now. And then, okay, so here you see some of the extras. Here's the pages in just black and white, the original print. So here you see, like, it's interesting. You see like the tape right here on the sides, where they would tape it to where they're drawing and whatnot. And sometimes you see whiteout marks and all that from when they erase something and whatnot. And then here they don't even have the word bubbles yet, right? Then over here you see word speeches. So that's pretty cool. And here you see these are recolored. This is the front cover and back cover of the trade paperback right here. Look at this. This is an awesome picture right here. This is by John Buscema and Peter Ledger. Now, this picture, I think they said back in the days they had prints of this, so you would frame it and put it in your house somewhere. If I had this in my house, which if I saw this, I probably would buy it because I really like the way it looks. And you wouldn't think a comic book, right? You think some type of fantasy novel or something like Harry Potter type stuff. So I really like the artwork right here. The next one here, you get a map, right? Because when you do a fantasy story, you always got to have a map because you got to show this world, right? How far the cities are from each other, where each city is at. These are the extras. You get all kinds of writing and stuff, explaining how the city works, what each town is about, what its thing is, and what this hero's journey is, and so forth. Look at this pin up here by Rudy Nebres. This looks awesome. This is from Marvel Super Special, issue 11. It almost looks like hippies right there, right? Or like, you know what it reminds me of? Adam and Eve. because this is very much what the story is about. This elf, he's the last one of his kind, and he thinks that's it. I'm weird, I'm different, I got pointy ears. He feels like an outcast, and then he meets this girl eventually. Is also an elf, and he's like, hey, I'm not the last one. So obviously they fall in love and whatnot. Don't want to spoil anything in the story, but I think that's definitely what they were going for, is an Adam and Eve vibe, because that's how they feel. Even though they weren't the last humans there, technically they're not humans, they're elves, but they were the last of their kind, right? So yeah, really digging that. Again, more writing of Doug Mensch, the writer, explaining to you the process and whatnot. Here's each character. Our main characters, Tyndall, Velana, and then their sidekick Mudbutt. He's just like a regular human. Here's John Buscema. He shows his art right here. Awesome pencils. Look at his art. This is how he draws. He was pointing out here, you get a few stuff from him as well. He wanted this book. He wrote a lot of Conan at this time. And he was saying he wanted it to be different. He didn't want it to have that comic book type of feel or barbaric. He wanted it to have a different vibe, a fantasy, like, think the Percy Jackson and the Olympians, Harry Potter, that type of feel. And he was saying that at this time he's reading a lot of children's books back then, and he wanted to give it that type of feel. Here's Big John right here, the artist, and here's the writer, Doug Mensch. It's back in the 70s. Look, you see him writing here on the board. This is awesome. I really like the extras on this. I wish this was a hardcover. That would have been pretty cool. But if you read the extras on this, you'll get a lot from this book, because when you read it, it's very incohesive in the way that you get like 3 issues, then it takes like 8 years, then you get another 2 issues, then like another 5 years, you get another 3 issues. So it was never like a smooth flow. But when you read it, you understand what the story was going for and so forth, but the execution was like meh. And then when you read all this stuff, you understand why, because this was definitely a passion project. If they wanted to write Spider-Man or Hulk for sales, they could have worked on those characters, which John Buscema did do a lot of Hulk as well at that time. But they were going for something different. They wanted something different, something they had a passion for, something outside of the norm of your regular superhero comic, right? And so they definitely explain all that to you right here. Also, it's cool to see them back in the days how everybody had an office in the same building. You just walk down the hall to the writer's office. Hey, I want to do this with the art or this. The writer will walk down the hall to the artist. Hey, how about if we change this part or we edit this? I think a lot of that has been lost in today's day and age with technology. Everything is more efficient and more convenient for us, right? So now he works at his house. He'll just email him the artwork. This guy will email him the script or call him, hey, can you change this? Can you do that? But it's convenient. They get to stay at home, get up late or whatever time they want to, which it has its perks. But you also lose something, right? Like you don't socialize with everybody else at the office and whatnot. So it's I wouldn't say it's better or worse. It just depends on what your cup of tea is, but it definitely is different. They show off a little more of the art right there. Look at the stuff that we're drawing right here. Definitely, they did a lot of artwork for frames and stuff that were, or for covers that wasn't necessarily the interior art. And these look awesome. Again, John Buscema giving more of his the process of the art and how he came up with how the characters are gonna look and whatnot. Look at this one, another pinup right here with Mudbutt and everybody showering at a lake somewhere. Okay, I don't want to go through the rest of the extras, but it definitely has a lot of extras. And I said it's like watching a documentary almost when you read this stuff. You almost go back in time to when they were actually building it. It takes you there. All right, here the first story arc is in black and white, and it's the artwork is by Mike Plug. So here you see this elf. He's talking to all these regular humans, and he definitely knows he feels different and he looks different because he has pointy ears. On this page, he's talking to them and they're sending him out because they go, oh, we have to find this lost some type of lost treasure or archive, and they say you should go because you're the bravest. But really they're sending him because he's an elf and they just want him out of their town, right? And then they go, when you find that archive, destroy it. So here he goes on his journey and he's, walking away. The artwork here, the other detail and stuff work by Mike Plug. Like I said earlier, this was my first introduction to him. This in black and white. I think he was famous. He did a lot of work back in the 70s. Now look at here. You got the swamp creatures. It's in black and white. Here's Tyndall. Now we flip to this page. We see this elf thing here. This gremlin or whatever that's talking to him. And he's telling him, you don't belong here. What are you doing in this realm or whatever. It's like a cave almost. It says when you enter the dark, you don't ever see the light again. So kind of meaning when they enter the cave, they never make it out. Now this story has a crazy ending. As you can see here, it's only 12 pages. Look at here. He finds the egg. He's like, that's the archive. The egg cracks. He's about to destroy it. It cracks. And look at what's in there. A beautiful girl. Beautiful elf girl. And he's like, hey, she looks like me. And he says here, they sent me to destroy you. He goes, they said you were a danger and they were full of hate. They didn't want you. He says, but they didn't say what it was I was destroying. And he goes, so they hated and wanted me to destroy an elf. And he's like, so that's why they wanted me to leave, because I'm also an elf. So they got rid of me twice, kind of, in a way, right? It's very crazy the way that ended up happening. And that's the story. So it's meant to just be a short little 10-page story. And it caught fire. People liked it. And the writer liked it as well. Doug Munch, he's like, I want to continue this story. Because usually little 10-issue, 12-issue stories and that's it, right? Same with the horror magazines or horror comics. You get 3 stories, like anthologies, and they're each like 10 pages, and then that's it. The story's over. Same here. They said this, the writer really wanted to continue this story, right, and make it an ongoing. So here you have, years later, they on Marvel Premiere, he went to another issue, and here they both are again, and now they're fighting monsters, and he's fleshing out the characters a little bit. Here they are right here. There's this sorceress and there's this mirror here that's looking at them, looking at their every move and whatnot. So again, I really enjoy what I read here, but you have to be a fan of comics or a fan of writing and the whole process, because it's not the most polished, but because it definitely has its flaws. But you get what they were going for. You're like, hey, the plot itself was good. It just had issues because there were so many years in between. Then you have to get different artists and this and that, and they kind of got in the way and they ruined the flow of the book. All right, here you see this wizard that's looking through the mirror. He sent him to go get killed by this dragon, but he actually ended up slaying the dragon, right? And he had his girlfriend captured. So he says, oh, go capture this dragon and I'll release her. Slays the dragon, and she's thankful, kisses him, and they get all hot and heavy right here. That's the end of this issue. So a lot of fun. If you've ever read or if you ever watched the movie Willow, if you have Disney Plus, check it out, Willow. You would like this. This is something I could see the creators of Willow working on this and making it a movie, and it would work, right? Good stuff. Like I said, I enjoyed it. I had fun with it. It's nothing I would be in a hurry to reread, but it is something I didn't mind reading. It is from the 70s, so as you can see here, the word bubbles is like very dialogue heavy. It's a lot more words than you actually need, right? All right, I'll flip through one more story real quick just so you can see how each one had different artists or a combination of maybe the same artist but a different colorist. Now look at here. Got this wizard doing something to the moon here. They're here in the lake showering. Then when they're done, they're having a little campfire. They're talking about all the crazy adventures they've been through and what's going on in this world, right? They've sensed some type of evils coming and whatnot. On the second half of the book, you start getting a little bit of that Lord of the Rings feel. Like they were definitely going for a similar story where they go to the Eye of Mordor, that mountain here. They do something similar. They're going to a mountain too, and it has a very similar vibe. Obviously, the delivery isn't as good, but you can see what they were trying to do. They were trying to capture that feel of Lord of the Rings. Here you have these bats flying. Look at it almost looks like space, the sky. It looks like space there. So the art here is definitely different from the other artists, or more importantly, it's the colorist that's definitely different from the other stories. And yeah, so I won't want to flip to too much more. Hopefully, if you see this book, pick it up. You could see it on eBay and stuff. I've seen it going sometimes for as little as $10. So yeah, it's worth giving it a shot, especially like I said, if you're a fan of reading old school comics or seeing how the process of stuff is done. This is one to pick up for sure. You just gotta remember that the dialogue is a little bit dated. It's like very wordy the way it's written because it is from the 70s. And another main thing you would pick this up is for the art. It's a lot of good art in here. So yeah, guys, hopefully you like this video. You go ahead and hit that like button if you do so. And hit that subscribe button if you're not already subscribed. That way it'll notify you on your feed the next time the next video goes up. Other than that, I'd just like to thank you guys for taking some time out of your day to check out this video. And I'll check you guys out next time.